What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. As always, before I go into the video, do me a favor, like the video, comment your thoughts on the team and the game down below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you are new or lurking. My computer is down right now for some maintenance, so we're doing this old school on the phone, but the Mariners do get the win tonight, 7-2. They get back to 500 on the season, and hopefully this is the start of a turnaround. As I said, many times, one game doesn't change anything much for me overall. It's still a team that's struggling right now, but you do have to start somewhere. You got to get that first win to get the ball rolling again, and the team got that today, and they finally started to come through a little bit with runners in scoring position. They got a solid start from Luis Castillo again, who continues to be solid for the team all season. And then Brash and Bizzardo finish it off for the bullpen. Don't have the box score up in front of me, so I'm not going to be able to go into it too much. This will be a shorter video today, and it's just late. These 7:10 games just hit me so much harder than these 6:40 games in terms of ending times. But starting out, it looked like it was going to be just another one of those games, right? The Mariners had some base runners early on. Couldn't cash them in. Hitting with runners in scoring position has been a problem over these stretches for the Seattle Mariners. And then you get the back-to-back home runs from Nolan Jones and Stephen Kwan. So, the thought process is sort of, here we go again, right? This is just the same old stuff for our Seattle Mariners. But they pull through it. They pull out of the struggle a little bit. Rowdy Tellez hits the home run. J.P. Crawford gets the base hit to tie it. And then there in the seventh inning, it just sort of all comes together for the Seattle Mariners. Randy gets the big base hit after Polanco doubles and Cal walks, then Polanco doubles. Randy gets the big base hit. Cole Young comes through. How about Dominic Canzone coming through with a couple hits today? One off of a lefty and then the 2 RBI single off of Gaddis. Canzone continues to impress me since he's come up. The at-bats have been much, much better here since his return. Even his at-bats against lefties, which have really, really been a struggle for Dom, have looked better. He had one on Monday in the 11th inning that while he struck out, he at least got it to a full count, bowed a little bit, and today he gets the base hit off Allard, I believe, in the 8th inning, and then the 2-run single off Gaddis. I was convinced that Dom was going to strike out in that at-bat, and he came through, got the ball through, and got a 2-run single, and, extended the Mariners' lead for them, which was huge because, with the way the bullpen's kind of been going, not that we didn't trust Brash and Munoz obviously didn't pitch tonight, 3-2 just didn't feel like enough. Getting those extra couple runs really felt like it was enough to lock it in for our Mariners. So that was impressive. Julio with a couple hits today, including a double down the line. Randy continues to stay pretty hot. He had a few hits tonight. Like I said, Rowdy gets the big home run and then the base hit, which hopefully Cade Smith is okay. Went liner right off his head. Looked like it just brushed the bill of his cap a little bit and obviously stayed in the game. So I'm assuming he's fine. But scary situation there. So heads up play by Rowdy to advance to second. But anytime you see a play like that, it's a scary moment. And like I said, I don't know the box score up, but Castillo outstanding through 6 innings today. Got a couple big double plays there, and it looked like maybe Cleveland was going to threaten again. The home run to Kwan just gets over the fence. Jones's was hit, legitimately well, but I thought Castillo was outstanding. Fastball again, saw it touching 97 tonight for Luis. Just continues to get the job done. He's probably been the most steady starter, right? We've talked about it, even though the offense has had its frustrating moments, especially in the Arizona series. The pitching's let them down a little bit too, right? Like we love Brian Wu, but not being able to get through that 6th inning, was a problem. That's happened twice here to Brian Wu, whereas Castillo has seemed to be at least a little bit more steady. He struggled in LA. There was also some Leody Taveras issues there in center field that day, so that didn't help Castillo either, but he was sensational. Carlos Vargas has a shutout inning. Excuse me. Then Matt Brash with the shutout inning, and Bizzardo finishes off in the 9th. And you're lined up pretty well in this series, right? You feel good with George Kirby with how well he pitched last Sunday going tomorrow. We have Spire, probably still have Vargas and Munoz tomorrow, if need be, in the back end of the bullpen. So really you just feel pretty good. And honestly, the offense today deserves a ton of credit, right? 7 runs is obviously phenomenal. They also had, 15 hits? They could have easily had 10, 11 runs today. They, again, early in this game, like I said, were struggling with runners in scoring position. Continues to be an issue. They come out of it a little bit there in that 7th with some big hits. But overall, still, a frustrating, at times, performance. But the good news is they're getting those hits, right? And eventually that'll lead to more hits with runners in scoring position. So, and it's easier to justify after a win, right? Had this been another 2-1 loss or something like that, it'd been tough to talk about, but they do find a way to get just enough hits with runners on. This offense is still getting a lot of hits. They're just not coming through in the clutch moments. And that's usually I would say it's a good sign because it's not good, but you'd rather get the base runners and leave them than not get the base runners at all. Keep giving yourselves opportunities, right? If you could play the lotto, a million times, your odds will improve. I know with lotto tickets, actually, I don't know if it really does, but you know what I mean, right? You get a chance to keep going up there and playing the game, eventually you'll have an opportunity. So, just an all-around good win for the guys tonight. So, like I said, solid starting pitching, solid bullpen, and offense was, got the job done as well. And, like I said, one win certainly doesn't turn it all around. We know that. They won Sunday in Anaheim. But this is the best the team has played since that first game of the National Series. That was the last time they really put a complete effort together, and that was how many games ago? 2, 5, 8, 11 games ago. So it's encouraging, and it's got to start somewhere. See if they can get a series win tomorrow. Now it's time. Now you got to start stacking some wins, right? This team, unfortunately, put itself in a little bit of position here. When they were 8 games over 500, I said if they can go 30-30 over the next 60, they'd probably be in pretty good shape, and they've managed to not even come close to that. So if they can just sort of, have one of those stretches, which they're capable of, one of those 8-2 stretches, 7-3, where they just kind of get back to 3-5 over 500 and can go from there, they can get back in this thing for sure. So it is amazing how one win just kind of changed the vibes a little bit. I do feel better getting that win, but certainly more work to do. And it looks like Logan Gilbert will make a start probably against Boston. So, Canzone coming up, being productive. You're getting Logan Gilbert back. George Kirby looks dialed in. So starting to feel it maybe coming together a little bit. Luke Raley's begun his rehab assignment. So some things looking up despite some poor play from the Mariners. Again, that's really all I got. Running off to bed here. Just want to make the quick video. Should have the computer or I'll have the laptop up tomorrow so I can do a more in-depth post-game recap. But don't need to talk much, right? Mariners needed the W. Got a W. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow night. And as always, everybody, go Mariners. Peace.